We have a new player on the Kenyan radio airwaves as Radio 47 has officially been launched today. 103.0 is the frequency right here in Nairobi. 101.2 is the frequency in Kisumu, and 92.9 is the frequency in Mombasa. I'll be telling you about that right ahead. Plus, tonight, rocking the airwaves. Kenyans have every reason to smile following the official launch of a new radio station in the country.
Na tuna vipindi ambavyo ni bomba, vipindi ambavyo vitatikisa mawimbi ya taifa la Kenya.
Radio 47, owned by Cape Media Limited, the parent company of TV 47. Former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang and his lawyer Danstan Omari will not face charges as the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has declined to pursue their case.
Our client invoked his right under Article 49 not to respond to those questions that were not relevant to the summons.
Matiang had previously appeared for interrogation at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations on Tuesday, March 7th. And tonight in our special piece, we shine the spotlight on women in Kenya who are putting their best foot forward to mitigate the effects of climate change.
In Moiga, we are doing it with girls, and they are really not only planting the trees, we are teaching them how to plant, the process, and then how to grow them so that we see them to maturity.
Good evening once more. My name is Eric Munene. Our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Catherine Simaloi. Now, Kenyans have every reason to smile following the official launch of a new radio station in the country, Radio 47, owned by Cape Media Limited, which is also a station that aims to air its programs in all the 47 counties. Our reporter, Ronnie Regan, has much more.
Radio entertainment in the country is experiencing a new awakening.
And Koroboros, Mwatate, tunasema Radio 47, hapa nipo.
After conducting assessments involving stakeholders over a period of time,
kuna mambo kadhaa. Ningetajia tu juu, nitasema kwamba kuna pia aina ya matangazo tunayapeperusha. Hivi sasa sisi tunasema kwamba tumeingia kidijitalia, tumekumbatia technology inavyofaa. Naweza sema sisi ni mojawapo waanzilishi wa kupeperusha matangazo ama redio ya kitaifa ya Kiswahili pia kutumia video. Okay, we are among the first audio visual radio station ambayo tutakuwa tunapeperusha, unasikiliza ukitazama. Okay, kwa Kiswahili. Na hapo pia tunajipigia upato ya kwamba tumebeba bendera hiyo na tutaendelea kuipeperusha. Na zaidi ya hapo pia ukiangalia tajiriba ya watangazaji ile tumeileta, kuna wale ambao wamebobea na kuna wale wanaobobea. Kwa hivyo kuna mchanganyiko maalum pale ambao utatupatia uwezo wa kuongelea na wale ambao wametuzoea na pia kuwezesha sisi kuwa able to recruit a new younger audience.
The idea of unique entertainment and programming has now been realized.
I'm a man of few words, but let me admit that today I'm very excited. This is a journey that we started like about 6-7 months ago, and today at least we can be able to witness reality. Being day one that we have been able to launch this radio, we can only be able to give thanks to God.
And the official launch of the new Radio 47 station has been received in a unique way.
Langu ni kuwakaribisha majirani wangu sasa. Kitaka kuniona niko tu upande huu wa kulia, AR Hospital. So ningependa kuwakaribisha officially to the neighborhood. Karibuni sana, mujisikie nyumbani.
The top management, led by Cape Media Limited Chief Executive Officer Ken Otwenyo and Geoffrey Mungo, the head of Radio 47 listeners have every reason to choose the station.
Siku ambapo tunataja hasa ni yepi ambayo wasikilizaji wetu watatarajia. Kwa hivyo ni mwendelezo tu, manake vipaji ni vikubwa zaidi na tuna kikosi ambacho bila shaka ni kikubwa zaidi kuwahi kuzinduliwa hapa nchini Kenya. Na mbali na hayo pia ni redio ya kwanza ya Kiswahili ya picha na sauti, nikimaanisha audio visual. Kwa hivyo ni uzinduzi ambao ni mwendelezo wa mumo kwa mumo. Kwa hivyo si uzinduzi wa kwanza. Kutakuwa na mapambano makubwa bila shaka, na ni kwamba tunakwenda kudhihirisha mwamko mpya katika tasnia ya utangazaji nchini Kenya, mwamko mpya katika kutangamana na wasikilizaji, mwamko mpya katika kuchanganua na kudadavua hoja mbalimbali, mwamko mpya pia katika masuala ya usomaji habari na yale yanayosomwa na uchanganuzi na tahariri na burudani na miziki. Kwa hivyo ni mseto wa mambo mengi mazuri na makubwa.
The program manager Linda Oriaso also had this to say about Radio 47.
One, Radio 47 is here to change the game. We are here to win. The promise we are making to our listener is the best talent on air, superior product, and news that is not only comprehensive but credible news. Don't miss out. Welcome on board.
Additionally, the staff, led by the football commentator and producer of Bahari ya Elimu, Ali Hassan Kauleni, commended this move.
Majini na ardhini. Taarifa nilizonazo, wajua washindani sasa hivi wanafanya nini? Ni waibie siri? Itamwendea afisa mkuu mtendaji. Msikilizaji, huyu ni Amope.
Well, and remember, you can catch your favorite presenters for information and entertainment on the following frequencies: 103.0 in Nairobi, as I mentioned, 92.9 in Mombasa, 101.2 in Kisumu, 92.1 in Nakuru, 100.9 in Eldoret, 97.3 in Nyeri, 93.4 in Narok, 104.3 in Webuye, 92.9 in Malindi, and then 92.1 in Laikipia. But remember, the station covers the entire country in all the 47 counties, as that story there by Ronnie Reagan and of course voiced by Zainab Mohammed has just informed us. Now, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has rejected the charges against former Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang, stating that the evidence that was provided was insufficient to sustain the charges of alleged conspiracy to commit a felony and publication of false information as recommended by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. The charges were contrary to Section 393 of the Penal Code and Section 23 of the Computer and Misuse Cybercrime Act No. 5 of 2018. Moige William with the details.
The Nurdin Haji-led Directorate of Public Prosecution has brought to a halt the high-octane drama between the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and the former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i by closing a case that had recommended Matiang'i's prosecution. According to the DPP, the investigating officers did not provide enough evidence to justify the charges against Matiang'i. In response to a file forwarded to the ODPP for perusal and advice relating to allegations that Matiang'i had jointly conspired with another to publish in the media that he was invaded by a battalion of unidentified people from the security agencies, the DPP in a statement responded that there was no sufficient evidence to sustain charges against Matiang'i. The DPP stated that there was insufficient evidence to support charges against Matiang'i by stating that, and I quote, upon independent and thorough analysis of the evidence availed and a review of the statements of the witnesses, the Directorate of Public Prosecutions found that the evidence provided was not sufficient to sustain the above charges against Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i and his advocate, Mr. Dunstan Omari, end of quote. The ODPP further directed that the DCI close the inquiry file against Matiang'i. The DCI had recommended that the former CS be charged with conspiracy to commit a felony contrary to Section 393 of the Penal Code and publication of false information contrary to Section 23 of the Computer and Misuse and Cybercrime Act No. 5 of 2018. On Tuesday last week, Matiang presented himself before the DCI at Mazingira House along Kiambu Road following summons to appear and shed more light on the alleged invasion at his Karen, Nairobi home between the 8th and 9th of February this year. A stalemate ensued after the former Interior Cabinet Secretary is reported to have refused to record a statement and instead invoked the right to remain silent.
They were asking Dr. Matiang everything about his life, where he lives, what property he has, what farming he has, and other things. So when we realized that they were on a fishing expedition, our client invoked his right under Article 49 not to respond to those questions that were not relevant to the summons. And therefore that engagement took all of just 15 minutes.
Muigi William, TV 47.
Now, the Kenya Internally Displaced Persons Organization, KIDPO, has called on Azimio leaders to call off the planned countrywide protests and rallies, citing concerns that they could potentially lead to chaos and violence, as well as disrupt daily activities and cause economic turmoil. Chichi Josephine tells us more.
The planned rallies and protests by the opposition have been termed as untimely, unnecessary, unjustified, and could potentially lead to chaos and violence, resulting in loss of life, disruption of businesses, and interference with daily activities.
Kitu ambacho tunaomba sisi kama wadhiriwa katika nchi hii ambao ni victim wa 2007 and 8 post-election violence, tunaomba serikali ya kwanza, Kenya Kwanza, waweze kuhakikisha kuwa mambo hayo yanayoandamana na mambo ya mass action yasirete uharibifu katika nchi yetu, aidha ni uharibifu wa kisiasa ama uharibifu wa kiuchumi.
Sisi watoto wetu saizi ndio mwaka imerudi kama kawaida. Iliharibika wakati wa COVID. Watoto wetu wakachelewa shule. Lakini hawa watu ambao wanaandamana, watu hawa Azimio, Mungu awasaidie kwa sababu wanaturudisha mbali sana. Maana wakati huu ndio watoto wetu wamerudi shuleni.
However, they have implored Raila Odinga to see sense and call off the rallies and use alternative avenues like parliament or the courts to lodge their dissatisfaction.
Kwa sababu tunashangaa wakati Prime Minister wetu ambaye alikuwa former Prime Minister Raila Omolo Odinga amesema kinagaubaga kuwa hajakubaliana na uchaguzi uliopita, kumaanisha kuwa watoto wetu wote katika taifa nzima wanafunzwa mafunzo mengine hivi kwamba hakuna siku kutakuwa na kukubali kuwa presidenti aliyoko katika mamlakani amekubalika katika taifa.
Azimio leader Raila Odinga had declared mass protests to push for electoral reforms, address the high cost of living, and challenge what he called dictatorial tactics by the current administration.
Wakenya utafanya maandamano. Nataka hapa Mombasa maandamano fanyike. Kila mahali na maandamano ya amani.
However, the IDPs have accused the political elite of exploiting the poor for their own gain.
Sio shida wako nayo, hata sio haja ya maandamano wako nayo, ni kuharibu wanaharibu. Na hiyo maandamano ni ya bure juu mambo yote imepita na uchaguzi ukakuja tukachaguana na tulikuwa tumeomba Mungu atupe kiongozi yule anafaa na ndivyo Mungu alifanya.
Wakianza kulaumu serikali ambayo iko, wakisema ya kwamba kuna njaa na masufuria kwa barabara, hiyo sio suluhisho. Suluhisho ni Mungu anyeshe mvua ili tuweze kupata chakula.
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Now, Captain William Ruto, the new managing director of the Kenya Ports Authority, has promised to work closely with the authority's employees and stakeholders to develop the port to a world-class level. During the handover ceremony at the facility's headquarters, Ruto assured the employees that he would avoid any political pressures and focus on restoring the port's former glory. Zainab Mohammed with more details.
Jubilant Kenya Ports Authority workers danced and sang as they welcomed the port's new managing director. At the handover ceremony, Captain William Ruto promised the employees that he would remain dedicated to developing the facility into an economic hub and a world-class port.
Mimi najua muko na matarajio mengi sana. Najua kweli. Mimi nataka kuhakikishia nyinyi, I will never let you down.
With over 20 years of marine experience, the new managing director emphasized that restoring the port to its former glory will require a collective effort from both the management and employees.
My rallying call is performance. Na nyinyi wote mnanijua. Wewe kama si mchapakazi, wewe ni adui yangu. Wewe kama ni mchapakazi, wewe ni rafiki yangu.
Further, he remained optimistic that he shall steer clear of political pressures at the port and instead focus on the work at hand. A section of area leaders from the coast have celebrated Ruto's appointment, saying he's a seasoned mariner who will bring on board a wealth of experience and passion.
Kwa nini tumepongeza? Kwa sababu Ruto amekuwa operations kwa miaka mingi katika KPA na amefanya kazi nzuri na ana tajiriba, na tuna imani kubwa kwamba katika uongozi wake yeye ataipeleka port pahali mbele zaidi.
Bwana MD, sisi tunakuomba utakapokaa pale ofisini utuangalie sisi kina mama, utufungulie biashara, tuachane na mambo ya Kenya women. Hatulali, tunakuwa na stress, wengine wanapoteza maisha yao kwa sababu ya madeni makubwa ambayo hayawezi kulipika.
The appointment of Ruto as the managing director was announced by the CS for Roads, Transport and Public Works, Kipchumba Murkomen, 4 days ago. Prior to his new role, Ruto served as the general manager at Kisumu Ports Authority. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua stressed that the Kenya Kwanza government still has the strategies to better the independence of police in the country by increasing its funding in a bid to perform its duties without being coerced by anyone. Now, referring to evictions of more than 100 families from their homes in Rongai area of Nakuru County, Gachagua said President Ruto's government will not allow county police commandants to harass Kenyans for no reason. Micah Gong with those details. Are independent. Are you confirming now that the executive still has a hand in how the National Police Service operates?
Speaking during an interview with members of the press on Sunday, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said the government of Kenya under President William Ruto has put on stringent measures to better the police service, especially after transferring its budget from the office of the president.
The National Police Service is independent. We have given the Inspector General financial autonomy. He is now the accounting officer.
Okay.
He needs no direction from anybody on how to work. But the government also has policies. And the Inspector General of Police has been hired by President William Ruto. President William Ruto has a manifesto. He has a covenant with the people of Kenya.
In his inaugural speech in Kasarani Stadium last year, the head of state said he will designate the Inspector General as the National Police Service Accounting Officer in order to end its dependency from his office.
The Inspector General of Police is mandated to exercise independent command over the National Police Service. The service's operational autonomy, however, has been undermined by the continued financial dependence on the office of the president.
Gachagua said since the entrance of the Inspector General of Police, Japheth Koome, and Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki in the docket, the service has been in its best in a period of 6 months since the Kenya Kwanza government took charge.
Do not interfere with the way police carry out their operations, but there are certain policies that were a covenant between the people of Kenya and President William Ruto, and all those who have given jobs must adhere to those policies.
However, Gachagua said the government's decision to subsequently recall former Nakuru County Commandant Peter Mwanzo to Vigilant House was well thought out. Mwanzo supervised the eviction of 105 families from a parcel of land in Rongai that they had illegally occupied. Bulldozers rode into Kiriko village in Solai early morning, flattering homes spread over the 434-acre piece of land on which the two land buying companies have been claiming since the 1970s.
As a signal had been issued when President William Ruto came to office by the Inspector General of Police, directing all police commanders in Kenya that there shall never be a night eviction. That is why we removed him. During the night, property belonging to those poor men was stolen. Women were raped. Property was destroyed.
Gachagua stressed that the government of Kenya will not allow any police commandant to harass Kenyans through powers bestowed on them. Mike Kaguongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Still on that beat, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has reiterated that he is a natural and no one will ever change him with criticism. This comes amid frequent public uproar of his comments on certain matters which appear aggressive. Flora Limuki with that perspective.
For the last 6 months, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has been making headlines, and mostly due to his controversial stance on certain national matters. The second in command calls it as he sees it, especially in his critique of the former administration and state of Kenya's economy. He's a man who is loved by his loyal fans and ridiculed in equal measure by a section of Kenyans who critique his sentiments. In a joint media interview, DP Gachagua downplayed claims that he's a bitter man and says instead he is a truthful man.
But you cannot gag us from giving an opinion of what we think is your performance. Okay. We have a right as leaders, as a country, as a people, equally to call you out.
His sentiments came just a few hours after he attended a church service in Tharaka Nithi County, where he slammed Azimio leader Raila Odinga for what he said was arm-twisting the government to force a handshake. Gachagua insinuated that in this administration, Odinga will never find inroads under his watch.
Wewe mzee ya maandamano, piga kelele kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni. Na ujue hata ukipiga kelele mambo ya handshake hakuna. Na hata kwa rais mimi niko pale, kwa hiyo compound nazunguka hapo. Hakuna.
A few weeks ago, the DP yet again rubbed the public the wrong way after stating that the Kenya Kwanza government was like a company that would reward only the people who supported them during the campaigns with government appointments.
Lakini wale wafanyikazi wa kumsaidia rais atatafuta wale ambaye wanakubali na kuamini the bottom up economic transformation agenda, kwa sababu ndio wanaelewa agenda yake.
Naibu wa rais anaongea kama ndio wazimu. Ati sisi tuko na shares. Shares tutaangalia wewe. Kama wewe ukikuwa na sisi ukipiga nini, wewe utakuwa kando kwanza.
DP Gachagua has repeatedly accused the media of holding a grudge against him since the election period. Flora Limuki, TV 47.
Now to some bit of politics now. Ford Kenya Party Nyanza region leaders have opposed the proposals to dissolve and merge UDA affiliate parties. Led by the party's Nyanza region chairman Charles Mogaka, they maintain that Ford Kenya will remain an independent party. Mogaka said that the party was there to stay and told those pushing for the merger of political parties to instead focus their energies in seeking solutions to a myriad of challenges facing Kenyans, including the high cost of living, inflation and heavy taxation.
Hiyo mambo ya kutuambia ati vyama viungane, sisi wanachama wa Ford Kenya kutoka eneo hili hatutakubaliana na mambo kama hayo. Kwa wakati huu Kenya inaendelea kupigana na jangwa la njaa, ugaidi kule Northeastern, vile watu wetu wananyang'anywa ng'ombe. Saizi sio wakati wa kuambia watu wakuje pamoja wafunje chama zao ili waweze kukua na chama moja.
Maisha imekuwa ngumu sana, viongozi wetu. Wananchi huku wanalia sana, unga inapanda juu kila wakati, mafuta. Tafadhali Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi naelewa ya kwamba wewe ni mwerefu sana na unaendelea kuona venye watu wako wataishi.
Watu wanalia njaa. Tunataka ile mambo mnafaa kushughulikia, si maneno ya kuvunja vyama. Enda kaa chini wewe pamoja na serikali, sababu sisi kama kuna kuvunja chama ama kuondoka hapa, lazima tuongeleshwe na patron wetu Mheshimiwa Weta.
To matters education, the Council of Governors Education Committee Chairman Dr. Eric Mutai is calling upon the government to scrap off the competency-based curriculum CBC and allow the country to revert to 844 system of education. Mutai says implementing CBC was ill-timed and a mockery to education. His sentiments come hours after Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua assured Kenyans that the government will not do away with the new curriculum, but they will instead wait for the recommendations from the Presidential Working Party on education reforms and act on them to improve the new curriculum.
7 years later, since the country adopted the competency-based curriculum and began to gradually face off the 844 system of education that has been in use for over 30 years, there is still dissenting voices from people concerned with the quality of education being offered under the new curriculum. The Council of Governors Chair of the Education Committee, Eric Mutai, wants the government to do away with the CBC, saying it is affecting the quality of education being offered. On the other hand, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says the government will not do away with the new curriculum and instead they will improve on it as advised by the Presidential Working Party on education reforms.
As the chairman of education, I'm asking the Ministry of Education that if they are not ready for GSE, scrap this madness. We cannot have children 100 being taught by one child, by one teacher. And it is just a mockery to education. We know we got it wrong from Uhuru, we got it wrong from Matiang in this kind of education we have. But we cannot continue with mistakes. It is time that we sit as a nation and reflect that if GSS is not functioning, we accept that we made a mistake, scrap it, go back to 844 as we prepare ourselves for the future. Because there is no way we can be having conversations every day about CBC, about that, and truth be said, DSC Director, I'm the chairman of education. And I've gone around most of these schools and I'm supporting them as the governor. But truth be said, TSS, the junior secondary school, is not working. It is not working.
There are good elements in CBC, but there is quite a number of issues that require serious reform. So we have agreed as a government, we are not doing away with CBC, but there is going to be tremendous reform. And the situation we are in, it is because the previous administration did not have respect for public participation. They dictated a system without talking to the stakeholders. They needed to talk to the teachers. They needed to talk to the parents. They needed to talk to the educationists. We are waiting for the final report, which will be ready before the end of this month, on the various recommendations on how to reform CBC and other reforms in the educational sector, including training, including universities. You know, we have a big challenge in our universities where they are not able to sustain the activities because of lack of funds from the National Treasury.
Each grade 7 class received a teacher who is expected to teach over 10 subjects, further raising concerns over the quality of education being offered in junior secondary schools and public schools.
I mean, this is turning out to be the most stupid curriculum of our time. Because you cannot go to a classroom of 100 students, 100 children, and you have one teacher teaching them. We don't have laboratories for them. We don't have classrooms for them. We don't have facilities for them. And how are we learning? It is only children in private school who can have capacity to learn. But the child of the hustler, the poor child from the poor family, cannot benefit from education. And this, in essence, is abusing the fact that education should be an equalizer.
We found that we cannot fill the gap in 2 years. It needs to be spread across 5 years. But we have started somewhere. We have now rolled out the employment of 35,000 teachers, and that will really be a big relief to our schools.
I've been talking to the teachers because they are our teachers. They tell us that the conditions are bad. They hardly even have where to sit so that they run the class because they have only one class. So I don't know whether the government is going to reconsider scrapping, calling, improving JSS. I don't know.
Of digits in a number. First of all,
over 50,000 learners are yet to report to junior secondary schools across the country. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Sharon Jepkosgei Kigen, who drowned in the Georges River in Sydney, Australia, while swimming with friends on February 21st, has finally arrived in Kenya. The body rather has arrived in Kenya. Her brothers are currently making funeral arrangements for her. Amida Jacob has more information on that story.
Sharon's body arrived in Eldoret just after 1 o'clock in the morning and was received by her family and friends who were overwhelmed with sadness. Sharon died just 2 days before starting her studies at Catholic University in North Sydney, where she had been awarded a scholarship. Her family and friends expressed their deep sadness and sorrow as they escorted her body to the mortuary in Eldoret.
Last year tulipata ripoti ya kwamba anataka kwenda Australia. Hakika tulingishikana mkono kama mandugu na madada tuwezeshe Sharon aende Australia.
Siku meet Sharon tukiwa Australia because alikuja just 3 months. So hiyo time yenye tulikuwa tukutana naye Judy akiniambia tutafutie kazi ndio wakati nilikuwa ninakuja. I just came a week and that Tuesday nikaambiwa hiyo maneno imefanyika.
The 28-year-old had only been in Australia for 3 months before the tragic incident occurred during a walk with her friends. Her family has praised her as a talented young woman with a good heart who was loved by many in the community.
Sharon was someone I believe ameweza kuleta watu in community in terms of when this incident happens, a lot of people came to say pole. Huko each and every day, community mzima ya Australia, at least about 1,000 people came to say sorry.
Amida Yakub, TV 47.
Well, it's about 29 minutes past the hour. Time now for a very short break. Don't go away. We have much more ahead.
As you enter a new phase of life, you may seem lost until you discover the passion within.
I'm happy that MKU decided to open a branch in Malindi to make work easier for those parents who have never been away from their kids or children.
That's all the equipment that I need to study and all the facilities that I need.
I've seen we have one of the most beautiful and ultra-modern structure.
Join us at Mount Kenya University and Equip Africa Institute Malindi Odell Center to build your future. Intake in April for electronic learning and May for distance learning. Mount Kenya University.
Unlocking infinite possibilities.
Karibuni.
Mount Kenya.
Platinums.
Welcome to Nyali Golf View Residence, where a luxurious accommodation is inspired by the Indian Ocean. This exclusive residential community offers the ultimate in coastal living along Links Road, Nyali, near Mamba Roundabout. With breathtaking views of the golf course, ocean, and landscaped gardens, every moment spent in your home is an experience of tranquility, comfort, and luxury. Every detail of your spacious, fully furnished apartment has been designed with your comfort and style in mind, with open-plan living spaces, high ceilings, and elegant finishes that exude sophistication and relaxation. Experience resort-style living with a wide range of amenities, including a state-of-the-art fitness center, swimming pool, children's playground, 24-hour security, and concierge services. Experience the ultimate in luxury living and golfing at Nyali Golfview. Contact us today to schedule a visit and discover the lifestyle of your dreams. Nyali Golfview Residence, luxurious accommodations inspired by the Indian Ocean.
Hey! Kaluma King Herbal Lozenges zinazo nguvu maradufu kutuliza kikohozi, vidonda vya koo na mafua. Kaluma King ni shwari.
Tika mama huyo muharifu kaiba kuku zangu, vifaranga wangu na mayai zote pia kabeba. Haya, tika mama huyo.
Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Most women in Kenya for decades have been left out on matters conservation. Some narrate how they suffer most when they are hit by the effects of climate change. Our reporter Joash Onsare has identified a group of women who have ventured in tree seedling growing in southwestern Mau in Nakuru County to understand how they overcome myths against women in conservation to become champions of rehabilitating the degraded forest in the Rift Valley region. Have a look.
These are the efforts that seem to be small. A conservation activity that for years has been seen to be a male affair.
Wanasema hata mna waste time huko nini maneno mingi, lakini sisi tunashumia alafu tunakuja kabisa.
Winnie Maritim and Rebecca Busiene are from the Ogiek community and living in the southwestern Mau on the border of Kericho and Nakuru counties.
Napanda miti msitoni narudi kama siku ile ile. Na sisi mnachunga msitoni sababu kama unapiga hii miti jua unawaka utapoteza mbwa. Tukitaka dawa hata watoto wachanga wadogo tunapata hapa. Tukaonelea ili tutengeneze hii miti ya kienyeji tuweke kwa seed bed na tupande kwa hii msitu yetu.
As of 2019 analysis by the Kenya Water Tower Status Report conducted within the gazetted forest indicated that an area of 34,247 hectares, which translates to 57%, was under medium level of degradation. 3,649 hectares, which translates to 6%, high degradation level, and low level covered 6% of the forest. This is attributed to overgrazing, encroachment for tea farming, mainly at Kiptagich, illegal logging, and frequent forest fires. The Ogiek women are not only rehabilitating the degraded Mau forest, they earn a living from the sale of the seedlings. This time, the seedlings are struggling to survive due to the scorching sun caused by climate change.
Hapo zamani hapa kwetu kulikuwa kusuri sana. Miti kila aina ya miti kulikuwako. Na tulikuwa tunapata mvua kwa kila hata mwaka moja tunapata mvua karibu mara 4 hivi. Kutoka Januari mpaka mwezi wa 7 tunapata mvua. Lakini sasa msitu imeharibika, lakini tunataka kurudisha kama zamani.
These women are empowered on matters of conservation by Rhino Arc Charitable Organization, who offer training on tree planting. The 15-member group has already planted 55,000 seedlings in a period of 2 years, with 11,000 trees at Kapkembu site and 44,000 trees in Tirigoi site, all in southwest Mau ecosystem. Currently, the women are raising approximately 8,000 seedlings in their nurseries.
As Rhinoarc, tuna facilitate maneno ya training kwa hiyo mama, how to raise their seedbeds, how to conserve the forest, how to conserve the catchment areas. That is basically where our input as Rhino comes in. And also when they grow, when their seedlings are mature in the seedbeds, tunawatafutia market through other partners.
Some of the ways of empowering women in solving climate change include productivity of farms and climate leadership. In involving women in climate action, the government has promised to empower them.
Na tukisema ya kwamba tunapanda 15 billion trees na bado wa Kenya 80% wanategemea ile msitu katika mambo ya domestic fuel, it's a big compromise. Tunataka kuingiza kina mama wetu katikati ya uhifadhi kwa kuwapatia alternative clean cooking, wawache kuumia kwa magonjwa ya vifua kwa sababu ya ile moshi inatokana na kuni.
"150 kilometers from Nairobi, I meet Grace Nderito, a teacher in Muiga High School in Nyeri County.
In Muiga, we are doing it with girls, and they are really not only planting the trees, we are teaching them how to plant, the process, and then how to grow them so that we see them to maturity.
Grace Nderito formed a club of young conservationists here, trying to mitigate the effects of climate change. For instance, in Nyeri County, it's getting warmer, an occurrence that has never been experienced. The vegetation in the forest is drying, making the ecosystem vulnerable to the forest fires.
Water. We get water from our badeas. The rivers are drying up, our intakes are drying up. So we felt we need to be proactive in reversing the effect that was done.
Still in Nyeri County, I meet Masi Nyambura, the only woman in Aberdare Joint Surveillance Unit mandated to patrol the Aberdare forest.
Kazi ambayo naifanya ni kulinda na kuhifadhi chini ya Rhino wa Kenya, ambayo tunafanya kazi na Kenya Wildlife Service na ushirikiano na Kenya Forest Service.
Masi ensures the fence is intact. She says her urge to venture into conservation is not by an accident.
Kile ambacho kiliniweza mimi niingilie kwa hii kazi, pale ambapo nimezaliwa kulelewa ni karibu na kichaka. Kwa hivyo ikawa kila wakati mnalima hakuna kuvuna. Nyani ndio hao mchana, ndovu ndio hao usiku na nyati. Kwa hivyo pale ambapo Rhino kwa ushirikiano ya Forest na KWS waliweka ile fence, hapo ndipo tulianza kusaidika.
Masi feels that if the water towers like Aberdare Forest are not protected from human activities, cities like Nairobi will not get water for its growing population.
Kichaka ni mali yetu sisi wote, kwa sababu tukiendelea kukata miti, mvua itadidimia. Hewa, mazingira, kila kitu itachafuka na sisi wote ndio tutaumia.
Even as food remains scarce due to the prolonged drought, researchers have found out that involving women in agricultural productivity will itself increase food production and solve the effects of climate change in the society.
Sasa tunajua hata hii sikikuwa kubwa, tunajua tutapata mvua kila siku. Haitaenda sana kama awali.
So kuna climate change yenye ime bring about so many issues that are affecting women, and so I feel as women we should be at the forefront in conservation.
With the notion that women lack space in conservation in the African society, it's evident that these women have a role in mitigating the effects of climate change. Joash Onsare, TV47, Muiga, Nyeri County.
Well, thank you for that, Josh Onsari. Now, police in Kikuyu, Kiambu County have seized 4 firearms and 3 motorcycles after a suspect was burned to death by an irate mob. 3 other suspects have also been detained and are currently being held at the Kikuyu police station. According to Kiambu County Police Commander Paminus Mushangi, the guns were found with the suspects and 2 were reported to be fake and the other 2 are self-made but capable of shooting. Speaking at the Kikuyu police station, Mushangi has praised his officers for the good work while asking them to tighten the ropes even more to end crime in Kiambu. Have a look.
We have 2 toy pistols, and also at the same time, you have seen the type of ammunitions which they were using. And in that operation also, we were able to recover 3 border borders. Among those border borders, one of them border was burned down by members of public, including the rider who was riding. And more so, we also dealt with this recovery of other alcoholic. Some of them have been operating from the sides of Nairobi coming to our area. We have already liaised with the sub-county commanders of the neighboring sub-county, and I also even talked to the regional police commander within Nairobi area so that we can assist one another that is within our boundary.
The Law Society of Kenya Embu chapter has raised alarm over probability of having unqualified members of staff in government offices following what they termed as a verification of documents by quacks masquerading as advocates. Now, the LSK members in the company of DCI stormed the Kenya School of Government in Embu, where Embu County government officials were conducting a staff audit in which the DCI officers arrested 2 ladies who were allegedly conducting the verification exercise on behalf of advocates who were not at the scene. Have a look.
We have managed to find 2 culprits inside stamping documents, and we have sought the services of the DCI Embu, and we are sure that we'll be able to start the process and hopefully prosecute them.
And when we came in, we found a number. We managed to nab 2 of them. The rest of them scattered, and we managed to recover some stamps. The odd thing is that all of these people were purporting to sign and stamp all of these documents using the same advocate stamp, or what is purported to be an advocate stamp.
As it stands, the bar has 56 members, active members. None of them was even consulted by the county government or even the people that had been given that task. That's another issue. The other issue that we are having with this process is that the process has been evaded by quacks. Quacks wamekuwa wengi. We have seen even being stamped by members of the county, verifying documents of members of the county. You understand? That's a complete conflict of interest.
Maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Tunawajua kwa majukumu yao. Wanapotumikia wananchi katika afisi zao, tunawafahamu. Wanapoingia katika majengo haya kutunga sheria, tunaelewa. Lakini je, tunafahamu safari yao ya maisha na walipotoka?
If you build a good relationship with the people on the ground and you're a person, there are people who will be loyal to you and they cannot be changed by anybody.
I feel that this is the direction. This is where God is leading you to.
Katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi tunakupa nafasi kutangamana nao kila siku ya Alhamisi kuanzia saa 1:30 kuendelea. Nami Elizabeth Mutuku.
Authentic, natural, planned. Transforming. Endless benefits. Slaty, purely Kenyan. Buy now on Jumia or Amazon.
A very warm welcome to Primetime Sports. My name is Dennis Otieno. Now let's start off with matters match fixing. 3 match fixing suspects who were earlier on Friday arrested in Zimmerman, Kasarani, were earlier today arraigned in court and released on a bond of 300,000 shillings with 2 sureties of a similar amount. The three suspects, who included a Russian international identified as Akhiad Kuibev, a Ugandan identified as Bernard Nabende, and a Kenyan identified as Martin Mutua Munga, denied the charges pressed against them at the Makadara Law Courts. The suspects were arraigned following a tip-off, or rather were arrested following a tip-off from a former Kakamega Homeboys player, Festus Omukoto, who alerted the police to accompany him to a meeting with the three where they would orchestrate how to alter the outcome of the FKF Premier League fixture between Nairobi City Stars and Sofapaka over the weekend.
The team manager of City Stars FC to deliver a football match fixing City Stars FC versus Sofapaka FC, which will be played at Waraka, Kenya Brewery Spring Ground.
With the Football Kenya Federation, FKF, emphasizing the measures it has put in place to improve the state of football in the country. 30 football coaches are expected to benefit from the CAF-C coaching course, which went underway earlier today in Buruburu, Nairobi. Speaking during the training, Kibera Black Stars coach Evans Omondi said the course was an opportunity to push his team closer to the FKF Premier League promotion, while former Sofapaka player Ronald Okoth and CEO of RO Sports Academy said the course was an opportunity to develop him and his organization.
It's quite a brilliant opportunity for many of us to further coaching knowledge, but me, of course, most especially for me personally, because I have an ambition, to coach all the way to the top, and getting such opportunities is hard. And being some of the few players who've been picked, or maybe some of the few coaches at the grassroots who've been picked, we are only 30 in this course out of many applicants. I mean, we don't take it for granted, because these are moments for us to just be able to learn new things, to be able to also the next generation to come.
I have to up my standard, because I'm taking a big team like Kibera Black Stars, which are playing in Super Nini second tier, and I know from here I'll get the best. And if I apply it in my team, I think my team from Kibera Black Stars will be somewhere greater than the other previous years.
Now, shifting focus to matters swimming, Ahmed Mawi of Bandari Swimming Club was crowned the winner of the Under-9 Boys 25 meters freestyle in the Coast Amateur Swimming Association CASA Championship at the Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa. Mawi clocked 18.13 seconds to emerge victorious ahead of his clubmate Vihan Majitia and Damian Howie of Mombasa Parents Swimming Club. In the 11 years 50 meters boys category, Jeremy Mwamisi of Mombasa Parents Swimming Club emerged the winner in a time of 33.08 seconds, while Mahmoud Shalo and Amaya Amini of Aga Khan Academy came in second and third respectively. During the championships, the association rebranded from Coast Amateur Swimming Association CASA to the Mombasa County Swimming Association MCSA in a bid to comply with the Sports Act.
Key highlight for us this weekend is that we are officially unveiling and rebranding the Coast Amateur Swimming Association, and we are proud to say that we are one of the very first counties to be registered with the Sports Act under the Ministry of Sports, and we are unveiling our new name and logo here today, and we are from now on going to be known as the Mombasa County Swimming Association. This is a very new chapter for us, and a very proud moment as an association and executive committee member, and we only look forward to going up to greater heights from here.
An American-based organization known as the Elite Soccer Training Outreach has started a program that will tour Mombasa County in a bid to identify young football players between the ages of 12 to 17 years, whom they will offer sponsorship for professional training abroad. The Talent Search program was held at the Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa, with a similar scouting exercise having already been done in Nairobi last week, where 12 boys were selected to benefit from the program.
It's been amazing, and the football's been great. There's a lot of talent here, and we have a lot of excitement to be here and to continue working here. We plan to come at least once a year, if not twice, to come here and do